Hey everyone, welcome back to the Nitty Gritty of Real Estate podcast. Today we're going to go over baby boomers versus first-time homebuyers. Let's get into it. So today we have a baby boomer.
Yep.
And we have a millennial.
Yep.
I'm no longer a first-time homebuyer, but I did buy one recently.
Yep. Congratulations, Joe.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So we want to talk about the difference between these two types of people, especially in the 2021 market. We saw a lot of first-time homebuyers coming in because money was so cheap to borrow.
Yep.
And then you saw sort of some things changing for the needs as far as what baby boomers wanted. Maybe kids were moving out. Things like this were changing in their life. What's the biggest difference with baby boomers in particular? And then we'll get into the first-time home buyers.
Well, in reference to the needs of the baby boomers, okay, they're all over the board now.
Yeah.
We are like chameleons.
Yeah.
All right. We want to stay as relevant as possible in society. When we reach 65, that's the new 50.
Sure.
When we reach 75, that's the new 60, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
We think sometimes that we're more important than we really are. All right.
We all do.
And quite honestly, it's because we've been coddled all our lives. All right.
Sure.
Most of the baby boomers have been coddled all their lives.
Yeah, you grew up in a great economy after
Great
World War
economy.
II.
We had great politics. We had wonderful expansion. Our country grew. We had just come out of the war. There was just so much economic development with us, and we just got used to it.
Sure.
Okay, we had the Great Society. We
Yeah.
thought we could cure all society's evils. So baby boomers are just a different breed. Understand that they want to be accepted, they want to be heard, and they don't want to be looked at as old as they are.
Sure.
Okay, hence the development of active adult communities, right?
Okay, yeah.
What's the first word? Active. We're not wheelchair bound. We're active. We like to play pickleball instead of racquetball.
Yeah.
Okay.
And go hiking in great hiking areas that we have around here.
Yeah,
in
instead of
Southern
running
Arizona.
marathons.
Right,
Although
right.
some are running marathons, right?
Sure,
So the difference between baby boomers and, let's say, millennials is that baby boomers have experienced so much more in life. Mm-hmm. All right. They're more seasoned financially. They've been through their optimum earning years, and they've taken those optimum earning years and hopefully have taken that money they've earned and invested it wisely. Okay.
Gotcha.
Millennials, on the other hand, are a little concerned. A lot of them were coming up during the 2008 crash. They're like, real estate doesn't look like a good deal.
Yeah.
Well, I spent $400,000 for the house in 2006, and in 2012, I sell it for $200,000.
Right.
Wow, that doesn't sound like a really good deal.
Exactly.
So they're skeptical, right?
Yes.
They also are the type of people that want to read things. They want to get other people's opinions. Baby boomers don't really care.
Yeah.
They have their own opinion.
Yeah.
And that's right for them,
Sure.
right? Millennials are more of, okay, I want to research this. I want to check that on YouTube. I want to go on Google. I want to ask, my parents sometimes.
Sure.
I want to ask my best friend who's sitting at the bar with me.
Sure.
They want opinions before they come up with a decision in general.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. We're generalizing with both of these groups
Right.
here,
We're
but-
always generalizing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So baby boomers can make a decision now. Millennials want to take their time.
Okay.
So that's the difference in baby boomers and millennials, in my opinion.
Sure.
Okay.
We've seen, I think, a lot of cash offers last year.
Yep.
And what was the reason for that? I would guess that's probably mostly baby boomers who are coming in with that type of cash because they are, like you say, seasoned.
Property values went up so fast. Okay. During the crisis of 2008, people were buying houses at 50 cents on the dollar.
Yeah.
Then over the next 8 to 10 years, the houses doubled in price. Okay. And people were not spending. Okay. They were saying, we're not going to over leverage. So now you buy the house at 50% of value. It doubles in price. You've got a tremendous amount of equity there.
Yep.
Okay. You're not spending, so you're applying more money for the down payment.
Yep.
Okay. Interest rates stayed low. You've got all of this borrowing power, but you also have all of this equity. And since values in, let's say, the coast, East Coast and the West Coast went up so fast versus other areas, there was such a huge equity position when they sold their house. They had all this cash where they could come in and buy pretty much the same house at 50 cents on the dollar from what they sold their house for. So if you were in California and you had $1 million house, which is a 1,500 square foot Rambler, you could sell it, pull out your money, come to Tucson, buy a 1,500 square foot Rambler for $500,000 instead of $1 million.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's where a lot of the cash came from.
Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha. And now, so people in my age group, millennial age group, first time home buyers, they kind of want to get their quote life started, right?
Yeah.
They're maybe renting now and then making the next step. They got married, they buy a house. They're going to have a kid, maybe, perhaps, adopt, whatever.
Or working on one, yeah.
Or working on one.
Four-legged kids.
Yeah, exactly. The furry babies. Plants, that's another one for us,
Hey, everyone, we want to interrupt this episode to let you know that we are a Keller Williams Southern Arizona franchise.
Also, we are licensed realtors practicing equal housing.
Now, let's get you back to the podcast.
Those needs are changing, I think, for that group.
Yep.
And then the need for the baby boomers is, and again, I'm generalizing, it's either going to be a second home where they can snowbird and come here to in the winters where it's in the 60s and 70s.
Yep.
They don't have to shovel any snow. Or that they're maybe want a 2-2 house where they don't have to take care of the yard, as much. They have an HOA, again, like an active adult community. I see a lot of that changing. And now you could probably speak to this a little better than I can. Their parents grew up in the Depression era.
You heard it all the time as we were growing up.
Yes.
Save that piece of cardboard because you never know when you're going to need it.
Right.
Now, I can tell you my parents and my grandparents especially just hounded all of that type of hoarding. And as an example, we, in general, resented that.
Yeah. Okay.
So you don't see much hoarding with baby boomers now.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah. So now let me talk a little bit about the first-time home buyer.
Yeah.
I think where they have the biggest edge now is with technology.
Absolutely.
Right. So they're always on their phone. They're always on their smartphone. They have a little computer in their pocket, constantly getting notifications of the homes that they like coming straight to their phone. They have different apps and things that can alert them to that. And I think that's probably the biggest edge that they have is that they could present an offer maybe a little bit quicker than a baby boomer who doesn't have the app set up right to send them notifications. They might have the app, but they're not utilizing it to where they could be. So while they may have better purchase power with their cash on hand, they can't be as fleet of foot with using technology.
Correct. I also, Joe, my experience says that a baby boomer can make a decision quicker than a millennial.
I think you're right on that.
And that's only because of their experiences in life.
Yeah.
Okay. Millennials are still looking for approval. They're still, I'm not so sure. I got to get some more opinions. The baby boomer, of course, let's make the offer now before we lose the house.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Well, I'm, I need to get, I got to check YouTube and let me see what the reviews say and all that.
Yep.
Well, just give me a minute. I'm on my phone. They can do it on their phone.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Let me talk to my mom and I'll get back with you tomorrow. Well, the house is gone.
Yes, that does happen too.
After that happens a couple times, they're quick to make a decision.
Sometimes you have to get beat up by the market to learn.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is true.
I see a lot of millennials as well saying that they're going to wait for the next crash. And okay, prices might be less then, but where are you going to be at in your life? Are you going to have a job because the quote next crash is coming? Are you going to be financially able to purchase a house at that point? I never understood that mindset, like I'm going to wait for a crash. That's great if you're financially capable of waiting through a crash and then purchasing a house during that. But I think you're looking at a sort of myopically and going like, well, interest rates are raising. They're raising up, what did we say, 1.25 roughly, we're guessing, 1.25 percentage points. And that's going to greatly affect affordability, not just the price of the home. Interest rates are going to affect it more than just the price of the home lowering, quote, quote, depreciation. And again, we're not seeing the numbers there that we're going to even have a crash. We're going to have, and we've talked about this before in the past, we're going to have a deceleration, not a depreciation in home prices. So they're not going to raise as quickly as we saw in the 19-20% range in the 2020-2021 market.
Yeah, the only crash that could possibly happen is a black swan event. Okay, Russia invades Ukraine.
Sure.
All of a sudden, Europe gets pulled in, China gets pulled in, and we're in a world war.
Yeah.
Okay. God, I hope that doesn't happen. I don't think it'll happen.
Right.
But that's a black swan. Another super virus comes out someplace.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
That could cause something like that. Somebody starts calling in the debt of countries and says, we're not trusting your computer printing of money.
Yeah.
That's another black swan event.
Yeah.
I don't see anything like that. But I also know that our stock market is so inflated right now that what we might see is stagnation of prices.
Yeah, and I can definitely see that. And I think that if you're going to buy a home, the best advice that we can give is to do it now before inflation gets you, before interest rates get you. The home price deceleration isn't going to be great enough to save you money in your mind. And I'm speaking to my fellow millennials here in that thinking.
Yeah. If we have a crash, where are you getting the money to buy the house?
Exactly.
And when is the bottom? Now you'll wait for the bottom.
Right.
Nobody's good enough to pick the bottom of the stock market. Nobody's good enough to pick the bottom of a housing slump. Right?
Yep. No, you're exactly right.
The best time to buy a house was yesterday. The next best time is today.
Yep. You're exactly right. Spot on there. Well, thank you, Tom. That was baby boomers versus first-time home buyers. Tends to be millennials. Thank you guys for listening. If you like this podcast, please subscribe to it. We're going to keep continuing giving you great information. Our website is www.thetjkteam.com. We have some great resources on there for people who are relocating to Arizona, and that is speaking mainly to you, baby boomers. There are occasionally where first-time home buyers are coming here to buy.
Come on down.
Come on down. Give us an email. We have our emails down in the description. We also have a millennial buyer's guide, which can help the first-time home buyers. Generally, that's who that's for. That is on our resources page on our website. So, those are free downloads for you guys. We put a lot of sweat equity into that, into producing those for you. So until next time, guys, we'll see you then.
Hey, thank you for listening and watching the Nitty Gritty podcast here with the Tom J. Krieger team. If you are thinking about buying a home, selling a home, or even investing in real estate, please reach out to us. We are local here in Tucson, Arizona, but we are also connected to over 4,000 agents across the US. So again, looking to buy, sell, or invest in your hometown, reach out to us and let us connect you.